Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli, and something that I noticed about Lyric a long time ago, actually, it was probably when he was in the womb. Brian, my husband, made me a belly band that had two speakers, and I played Lyric a variety of music, the classics from Mozart and Bach, all the way to a little Jimmy Buffett and, some harder rock, so to speak. And Lyric came out loving music and still does to this day. In fact, a lot of children on the spectrum have perfect pitch. They are musically inclined. You give them whatever instrument and they can self-teach themselves. It's really, really cool. And I thought, you know what? How wonderful would it be to bring on somebody who runs the show? And that is the president of the Adaptive Learning World Piano Teachers Association. Please welcome to the show, Lee Stockner. Hi, Lee. How you doing?
I'm well, Gina. How are you?
Are you off to a good start for 2025?
So far, so good. Happy to be healthy and alive.
Right. So you're the president of Adaptive Learning and the World Piano Teachers Association. Tell me a little bit more about the nonprofit within that, which is like Occupational Octaves. I love this program that you do.
Thank you so much, Gina. I appreciate that. So Occupational Octaves is actually the program that we use in order to be able to have an adaptive learning aspect of the World Piano Teacher Association. Here's exactly what that means. The World Piano Teacher Association is all about classical music and classical piano. And through our program, we're able to translate traditional music into a user-friendly language of music so that people who don't read traditional notes can still play Bach, Beethoven, Chopin, do big scales and arpeggios and chords and all this amazing stuff that I got to do with my teacher growing up. And the penultimate version of the application of the program is to have a classical piano festival that is also adaptive. So you don't have to go for the full standards of traditional sheet music reading, but you can still do the scales and the sight reading and the massive classical songs that are part of traditional classical festivals. So this way we really have best of both worlds. We have the adaptivity and we have the classical world.
And you do this, like the rings on the fingers. I was watching the video on your website, and it's just so endearing because for parents of children on the spectrum, we often find that they are so musically inclined and so that they can learn. Tell everybody about the rings on the finger.
Sure. So what Occupational Octaves actually features is an entirely user-friendly language of traditional music notes. So traditional music notes, while they do tell you a number of different things, the three main things it'll tell you is push on this note with this finger and hold it for this amount of time. And Occupational Octaves manages to translate those same three main ideas using colored letters and colored rings on the fingers instead of traditional music notes, which are black and white and very, very complex.
When do you plan on having your next big event for Adaptive Octaves? When is that coming up?
So we're launching next month, and instead of having it as a normal festival where there will be a big hall that is rented for a weekend and everybody is invited to come on that particular weekend, this is going to be a year-long running festival that people can sign up for whenever they want and simply sign online, and we have the entire process happening over Zoom with a traditional classical judge. So a traditional classical judge will join us. He or she will be reading off of traditional music notes, and those traditional music notes match up with the Occupational Octaves material, and this way the adaptive player is judged by the traditional judge. And we also have one little wrinkle that we added into the mix. We actually have a system where instead of the student being judged, is really the teacher being judged. Every student is going to be coming out with an award for the great work that they do. But when it comes to nitty-gritty details, like you missed this finger over here, or you played this note in the wrong octave, that part of the score belongs to the teacher. We want to see the teachers improve, and through the teacher improvement, the students will improve. But what's even more important is that we never want a student to come out discouraged after maybe a bad performance, because those happen.
And Lee, it sounds like anyone from all over the world can join this. If it's via Zoom, if it's a running festival, then and people can plug in, and I love that. Where is the farthest out that you've seen people join from so far?
Well, for the actual festival, we don't have stats to give you there, but I could tell you that the furthest clients that use occupational octaves, we've had students as far as Japan, Australia, all over Europe, different parts of South America. We have a lot of customers up in Canada, and of course, we have our main customer base here in the U.S.
With me today, Lee Stockner, the president of the Adaptive Learning World Piano Teachers Association, all over this occupational octaves. When we get back, we're going to find out when is the best time to start taking lessons and more. Stay with me.
Don's Tree Service is awesome.
Love Don's Tree Service. They've come out for a giant oak tree removal, another for some debris removal.
One thing I really appreciated about Don's Tree Service, they come, they take those trees down, and they take everything away.
For a free estimate, call Don's Tree Service, 770-413-TREE, or find them online at donstree.com.
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. With me today, Lee Stockner, president of the Adaptive Learning World Piano Teachers Association. And you have your hands in quite a bit of other things too, and we'll get to that, Lee. My brother is a session musician. He runs his own music school here in Atlanta. What do you feel is the best time to get a child on that piano, on those keys?
Well, I have to give you two separate answers. One is very basic, and the other one has my ego attached to it. The first answer is that late into age 4 and early into age 5 is a really, really great time over the course of the past couple of 100 years to get going with something like learning how to play music. However, the adaptations that I originally created for occupational octaves are also used in a program named the Stockner method. And with the Stockner method, we use both a mixture of the user-friendly material that we use in occupational octaves plus traditional music notes. And with this combination, we have students that are coming in as young as 3 years old, and they are beginning their path to eventually playing some classical piano.
What I loved watching on your website was the two stories of the boys, one completely nonverbal, and yet at the very end, you're reaching him up to touch the ceiling and he says ceiling. I think music is just a great way to bring things out of people, whether they're on the spectrum or not. And then the other little boy, I mean, he was playing so well. I mean, these kids are quite the musicians at their age. This is wonderful, and you have to feel good that what you're doing lends to this.
Oh, I absolutely do. But I'll give you a little inside baseball when it comes to piano teachers and music teachers when we're featured in things like videos and news stories and whatnot. We always show our best students. That's what everybody does. And that really makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't you show your best students? And the students that were there happen to be incredibly talented musicians along with having diagnoses. What I'm actually most proud of with the program is the students that come in that don't display a specific musical aptitude or musical interest even. They are just being brought to a program. Here's this guy, Lee. He's putting some rings on my fingers, whatever. And then a year later, this person is enthralled with themselves, maybe nonverbal, so you could just see the facial reactions. They're completely thrilled with themselves because they're actually playing the piano with this program that I put together for them to learn step by step, little by little, never asking too much of a student, but always saying, if you know this much, then we could do this much. And to me, it's actually the students that may not have the big musical talent that are showing great success with this program that I find myself most proud of.
And Lee, I can see as a parent what parents are automatically going, oh my gosh, this is perfect for my child, but how much does it cost? How much does it cost going through the program?
Well, it's a challenging question to answer because people are using it and adopting it into their lives in different ways. Some people are simply buying the books. You go out there, you can spend $15-20. You could buy the book, you read the instructions, and you could go through it yourself. However, that's learning music without a music teacher. And that is something that it could go okay in the beginning. And we have videos online that could help you, demonstration videos and whatnot. And we put plenty of wordage into the system so that you can do it on your own. But learning music without a music teacher is just not the type of thing that you want to do. So we do offer traditional lessons, and then we also do offer programming to schools, music therapy organizations, occupational therapy organizations, so that they could take on unique training packages that make the most sense for their program. So, for example, we may train an occupational therapist that has nothing to do with the special needs world of things, but is actually going to use the piano to help people that have issues with manual dexterity.
Right.
It would be one program cost because there are only going to be a few people in their building that they use it with. And then you could also look to train a music school where every single teacher will implement, and it will be completely different. So unfortunately, I can't give you a straight answer.
It's a wide-ranging kind of thing. Lee, what other things are you into in 2025?
I'm a big sauna guy and fasting guy. I'm a little bit of a health nut, as you could probably tell by your first question, which was off camera when you asked me what did I have for breakfast, and I told you I started my day with 8 eggs. I'm all about health and fitness. I'm somebody that has actually lost over 100 pounds in my life.
Good for you.
And I take great pride in my physical well-being, but I also have come to think that it is such a massive part of the mental health toolkit. And on my worst days, I'm always able to say to myself, as bad as this is, if you go work out, it's going to be better.
Yeah. Mind, body, soul, and a little bit of music. Lee, where can people find you?
OccupationalOctaves.com. The last word is Octaves, Octaves. And you could also go to WPTA.com/adaptive learning.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Lee. I appreciate what you're doing for our community for sure, and for all the kids out there.
Thanks, Gina, and I appreciate you also putting people like me out there because your audience is of great value to me.
Music has a way of moving you through life, right? When you're sad, when you're happy, when you're excited, when you're nervous, when you're scared, you can turn on some of your favorite jams and kind of reset, rebalance, reconnect, so to speak, whatever that music is. And I love what Lee and Occupational Octaves has to offer because our children, most of them do have perfect pitch. Most of them are musically inclined. Most of them want and can pick up some sort of instrument and just go to town. And so I really think it was great to bring him on. And you can learn more, again, on all of those websites and certainly right here on the show by getting in touch with Lee himself. I appreciate you checking in with the Life with the Spectrum each and every week. Our sole goal to bring you movers and shakers, people making a world of difference in our community and what that looks like where you live. So if you know somebody where you live and they need to be featured on a show, reach out to me, Gina at GCAS. That's GKASTS.com. All right. Until next time, we live life with the Spectrum. See ya.